Hi everyone, it's technology is sort of being against us. There's a bit more of a TV turn off. It's Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket. Yes, we have a massive match tonight that is between India and Pakistan in the UAE. To me, this is a game that has been hotly contested, hotly sought after, a game that people would really want to see. Well, a little chop from here. Had a great night tonight at a specific event, actually. The opening of Allianz Stadium, which is right next to the SCG. Superb location. There was an opening of the Allianz Stadium. So Allianz is an insurance company, and they basically have got the naming rights over the building. And certainly done a great job of, I think, about $880 million building, Australian dollars that is. Fantastic quality, great seating. They had a singer called Guy Sebastian, who's a very famous Australian singer there, and he did a great job. So that was right next to the SCG. I spent the night there and certainly enjoyed it. Of course, yesterday, we risked me not to cover the England versus South Africa match, but England completely smashed South Africa, retaliating after the first test where they actually were beaten quite handsomely by South Africa. So in fact, both England and South Africa have done the deeds to each other. South Africa, of course, winning the first test, England winning the second comprehensively. The likes of Ben Stokes and folks batting particularly well, and the bowling of Broad, Anderson, and even Ollie Robinson pitched in and did a very good job for them. But tonight, we have India versus Pakistan. We have Hitesh Basi saying hello. Hi, how are you? Another chocolate. I'm just watching a replay as well of Australia versus Zimbabwe, which happened in Townsville in Queensland in Australia. A bit of a lackluster game, to be really honest with you. Zimbabwe didn't do too badly, getting 200 in their 50 overs. And then Australia went out and got the runs, but did lose a number of wickets. So Zimbabwe were quite reasonable. So Steve Smith was at 3 too, by the way. But tonight, in only just under 2 hours away, we have India versus Pakistan. Now, Pakistan have somewhat of a depleted bowling attack. You would think, losing Shaheen Afridi. And what's my take? What's your take on India Pakistan? Well, you would have to imagine that India will win, but Pakistan, we don't really know how their new bowling line is going to shape up. They still have got a great lot of depth there. The batting line is pretty much the same. They have Babar Azam at the helm, whereas India has got an action-packed team and Virat Kohli back, looking in good form. The Nets could well threaten. Interestingly enough, yesterday, of course, Afghanistan, of course, Mohsen Sheikh will be joining us hopefully soon. Mohsen was in a consultancy role there with Afghanistan anyway, flown over very quickly from Australia, assistant coach of sorts, and he is there to help the Afghanistan side. And they summarily thumped Sri Lanka big time with their spin bowling and some very good batting. Very impressive indeed. So, yeah, nice, mate. How are you, Sam? Hitesh, in Dubai, it's boring, to be honest, with the toss to win the match, only chasing team to wins. Well, let's hope not that easy. It's the 100th T20 for Virat. Iron's hard to say. Vijay Murgod is saying, hi, Norman. Are you going to stay awake tonight for this match? And any idea what is the pitch like? India should bat first or bowl. It seems like they want to chase, which will mean that they'll send Pakistan about if they win the toss. The pitch is pretty low level, bouncing, fairly dry and fairly without too much concern, although spin bowlers will feature, but not as strongly. So I would say the team that wins the toss will actually chase, which means they will probably throw to the team first. David Wanders hit 6. I think he got 57 in this innings. He's on 49. He's got his 50 now. I'm watching on the replay against Zimbabwe. Raza, who play. What about Cam Green? 5-wicket haul. He bowled very well. In this match. Yes, he did. So we've got some joinings here. Mosen's here. Mosen Sheikh, I think, is there in darkness, is he? Mosen Sheikh, he's there.
Hello.
You must be very well. I predicted it. Afghanistan won, and you were there, and you hopefully very smugly, very confident now. You could well win the whole Asia Cup.
No, it was really good start, and obviously the plans worked, and it's the most pleasing thing that when you really dominate the game. So it was really, really good to see that our boys started the comp really well, and hopefully we continue our form against Bangladesh, and then into the next round.
Well, realistically, I mean, Sri Lanka was probably the main threat in this group, and they absolutely smashed them.
Yeah, no, we absolutely demolished the team, which is really confident booster for the boys, and yeah, very pleasing start.
Although, and I'm not trying to defend Sri Lanka, but they do start relatively slowly in anything they get involved with, which doesn't matter because I don't think Afghanistan will play them again anyway, so it won't matter. So the reality is that they're in the box seat now. Bangladesh, they should beat Bangladesh. And it won't matter who wins between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh at all to them. But if Afghanistan could well lead the group, which would avoid them playing India, which would be a plus.
Yeah, I think when you grow into the next round, we'll play both India and Pakistan. So it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, look, very pleased, humbled with the victory. Boys are really upbeat about it. So we've got like a team catch up at 4:30 in my time. So yeah, everyone's recovering well. Today's a rest day for the boys. They had a recovery session after the 11:30 after late breakfast. Boys had a bit of a pool session recovery, and we'll catch up just to summarize the good things, and then back on training tomorrow.
But your role is extremely important from a mental perspective. The buoyancy you're talking about, they've got to have that continued momentum of confidence, because confidence is huge, especially against subcontinent sides.
Exactly right. And that's the key thing, as you said, the confidence, especially winning the first game. And these guys come off the tough losses against Ireland as well. So confidence was down. The boys had tough series in English conditions. So, it's really good to get that confidence level up by winning the game, starting the tournament well, and really dominating with the ball and with the bat as well. Because, as you know, Norman, these small chases sometimes can be very, very tricky. And 80-odd runs opening partnership really gave us the confidence with the bat as well, because the two top orders have had a mix sort of starts in Ireland as well. So for both of them to get decent hit in the middle was really, really helpful.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It's not just the way they did it, it's the speed that they did it too. They got it in half the time, didn't they?
10 overs, yeah, 10.1 over.
That is staggering. That is the staggering. That mentally would have absolutely squashed Sri Lanka and frightened Bangladesh. And Bangladesh are very hesitant when they play.
Yeah,
even they won't know where the toss will. I mean, there's a lot of discussion about winning the toss and chasing, and I don't necessarily think that's the be-all and end-all to a victory at all, because what Afghanistan did was they both batted well and bowled well, so it was a combination of the two. So people are asking whether you're Afghani. Now, Nitesh Basi's asking, they're all asking, are you Afghani? Well, you're not Afghani by your background, are you?
No, born in Pakistan, and then lived in Australia for 20-odd years.
So the fact is, you're well-rounded. You have a very good cricketing brain, and quite frankly, a very balanced. You're even with whoever you deal with. I mean, obviously, Pakistan is still a favourite of yours, but you'd be quite happy to beat Pakistan if Afghanistan were to play.
Well, look, Pakistan have not been defeated by Afghanistan, and the boys are already really upbeat about the game between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And being in the Afghani camp now, I would like to see the first win come when I'm part of Afghanistan team, because it would be massive booster for these guys going into World Cup.
So now Lions Heart has said no predictions today, please. I'm guessing because we were both spot on with our discussion with Sri Lanka, Afghanistan. And quite frankly, I think a few people may have raised their eyebrows thinking, oh, that's not really, that was a rather bold decision, but we were bang on the number. And I really, what you're describing is a potential. Let's just play this out. I know we shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. Bangladesh are defeated by Afghanistan. I don't really care who was between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Won't be important. They're basically going to fall out, both of them eventually. It'll leave. India will probably win and go through. That's my. I think they've got a slipstream through.
Yeah.
But the crucial match will be potentially Afghanistan, as you said, versus Pakistan. And you could well see Afghanistan go right through. And that would be ginormous.
I think so. I think that would be a massive game. That would be like a semi-final for the boys, and especially if they qualify for the final itself, and then take on India in the final. I think this will be a very, very big boost for the guys who are actually not playing as much cricket as India, Pakistan, Australia, or all the other big test-playing nations. They are deprived, or they play lesser of the test-playing nations, so to speak. So I think it will be a good booster for these guys to go into the World Cup with some really high confidence in winning a few games.
I think that Lions Heart's fair. It's not an answer. It's not a prediction. Who wins the toss wins the match. I don't want that either. Between India and Pakistan, I think, even though Pakistan have been disrupted quite a deal by their few bowlers that have gone out at the side, they still can't be deemed to be a certainty for India to beat them. It'll be a tremendous match. I think there's so much pressure, probably more on India than there is actually on Pakistan.
True.
I think Pakistan are not expected to win, and that's the key to this, which could affect India. I think India are honestly too good. They probably will win anyway, but regardless of toss, but Pakistan also can have an element of not having anything to lose, which is very significant.
Exactly, and that's the key. I think it's a lot of people say win the toss and win the game. I think it's not really the case. The good teams will continue to threaten the scenario, because if you're good enough, you're good enough whether you bat first or you bat second. It's not relevant. There wasn't any dew last night, so the ground will be relatively drier. The pitch has ability to take turn swing as we did, so it's a pretty and Dubai ground is pretty evenly fitted ground. We're playing on the center wicket, which is the most center pitch that we were offered. So the ground is very even on both sides, not a small boundary on straight hit either. So it's really even ground, and I think it's the good team should win regardless of bat first or bat second.
Absolutely. Now, Hitesh Basi is saying that he still feels Sri Lanka will play final against India. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with that one. I really am. I mean, they may well beat Bangladesh. That may well be the case, but they'll only. I would predict they're going to finish second in their group, which would mean they're going to play against India, and they won't beat India, so they won't make the final.
So they've got good team overall in terms of their balance, but it's again depending on how well they go against Bangladesh, and how do we play against Bangladesh on Tuesday. So it'll be because we're playing Bangladesh in Sharjah, which is a total different ground scenario pitch compared to Dubai. So that Sharjah pitch suits Bangladesh finger spinners quite a lot, but we've got good spin attack as well, so it should be a good contest.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to digress. Australia, did you have a look at Australia versus Zimbabwe at all?
Yeah, I had a chance to look at it in bits and pieces. But yeah, you would expect Cameron Green, I saw taking FIFA.
I don't think he bowled well, though, because a lot of his wickets were caught on boundaries. Now, I don't necessarily I mean, okay, it's 5 wickets. I'm very much
You take
congratulatory
that.
about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
a lot of catches on boundaries. And
Mm.
I felt Australia's performance was very lackluster against
Mm.
the Zimbabwe side that was also
Mm.
not at full strength. And they did admirably well, I think,
That's right.
considering.
Mm.
And Australia, 6 down, I think, when they passed the score?
True.
Fairly crappy performance,
Mm. Mm.
I say.
It just shows that lack of cricket can be all of a sudden it just makes a surprise difference, because our boys haven't played a lot of cricket in Australia, so they're coming off season. Some of the boys have been playing some English domestic, but not a lot of them were playing or hitting balls in the middle. They've been doing some off season, pre-season stuff, but it just shows that all of a sudden you don't have enough match practice. You can get surprised. So it's good to get them a hit. And we predict Zimbabwe is going to be a walkover for Australia, but it's more like a central wicket is key.
Now, just quickly on that, Carey at second drop doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. Stoinis is still struggling. Finch is also really, once again, Maxwell is showing his worth. And I still rue the fact that Australia have not used him in the test arena. Maxwell's talents have been underutilised all round, and we're wasting a player, I must say. He's in the Australian side, yes, but he's just not getting enough quality time in a position where he needs to be. That's my thoughts. Okay. I just hear Rise saying hello to everybody. Sebastian's ready is also saying everything's going well. Noah Freddie, huge blow to Pakistan. Well, I don't agree, because I think Pakistan have got so many good bowlers that they're waiting to be, they're chomping at the bit to play.
Yeah, it's just that I caught up with Afridi this morning at breakfast, and he's probably going to go to England or come to Australia earlier on to get the further assessment on his injury. So he was quite disappointed, obviously, because he's had a longer layoff now, leading up to World Cup as well, because he's had no game practice. He's been injured over a month now. It's about 40 odd days that he was saying that he's been off the park. So I think there's a bit of a concern from Pakistani camp, and that's why he's either going to England or Australia to get further looked at. But I wish him well. Obviously, it is a huge blow for Pakistan, because the Indian batters, they do not play well a left arm pace that ball comes back into him, and we saw that last year's World Cup when top of the three batters gone out really early, and that turned the game.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, quick comments. His records are still strong. Well, I certainly am, but I don't think they're doing well enough. Finch Green is a very good player. I'm not saying he's not. He's going to be a long-term star for our country.
True.
Hopefully in the mode of a Ben Stokes. Let's see if he gets to that point, because Ben Stokes at the moment is right up there. Ben Stokes is dead set right up there. I mean, if I compare Ben Stokes to Flintoff and ultimately both of them, he's certainly pushing for his position in that pecking order big time.
Absolutely.
Jade of Day is saying India will win. Look, we expect India to win. We do.
We expect India to win, yeah.
I mean, look, India have got too many guns firing. And they look, honestly, they should win this tournament. They should win the Cup. But they've got two teams, namely Afghanistan and Pakistan, that are going to give them one hell of a shake. I can assure you. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Very exciting.
I'm particularly looking forward to Afghanistan versus Pakistan. And I'm predicting that to happen. That'll be interesting. All right. So we've got Hitachi's appreciating my chats. Great. When was Australia play quality opponent last time? That's quite a good question. We're playing a lot of crap. I hate to be rude, but playing Zimbabwe and even New Zealand in our winter as preparation for the World Cup is pretty bloody ordinary, I think. But then again, they played badly last time before the World Cup against the West Indies and even Bangladesh, and got smacked by them, and then they won the World Cup. So
I wonder what
I don't know what to say there. I'm a little bit confused with Australia, to be really honest with you. Green just needs 150 plus innings, and he'll get it. I'm pretty sure
he'll get it. He's a long-term solution. He'll get it.
Yeah, I think they're treating him like a Pat Cummins. But I do have more respect for Mitch Marsh these days. I think he's improved his game somewhat, and I'm particularly disappointed with Glenn Maxwell's lack of opportunity that he's been given, because I think he still could well even captain our country. I'm that confident about his ability to rally forces. Undeep should play today for India. What do you all think? Arco, Paul, well, India's got one hell of a big problem. They've got so many good bloody
They can
players.
pretty much play anyone today.
It's just ridiculous.
It is.
I maintain, and I will continue to say this, India need to settle on a steady 11, which won't please those that don't make the side, but they can't keep bringing in multiple players. They've got to settle on 11, whether it's Tests, ODI, or T20 format. They've got to settle their batting lineups down. And too often we're seeing Rahul out, Rohit not playing, this person not playing. There's a lack of stability in their lineup. And if they had that, they would be another West Indian, Australian, multiple winning streak success. Don't you think?
I agree 100%. 100%. I think now India, at this point in time, they've got all their players back. They're just waiting on Bumrah's fitness. I think leading into World Cup, which is 40 odd days away, I think the India will any further games they'll play, they'll try and play with the full strength that they have instead of trying different players. I think they'll try different players against Hong Kong because they should beat Hong Kong comfortably. But
they should. But hang on a minute. They should not be thinking that way. They should stop this. We're playing as these like throw new players. No, it's time. And I come back to the good Australian sides and West Indian sides. And my two examples, they didn't change their lineup.
No, they didn't. No. They stick to whoever they're playing. They play the best possible 11, which I agree to. The only argument to this discussion is because there's so much cricket now being played between now and the World Cup. Pakistan are playing 7 T20s with England, 7 games with England, and then they're going to New Zealand to play another tri-series with New Zealand, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. So there's about 10 or 12 T20s between now and World Cup. So, if you incur any injury between now and then, you're going to be in trouble. So if you don't test your bench strength now and give them time, I think you could be caught up with all of a sudden you're caught up with someone who's not had a game time. So that would be a thing. Like Afridi has been injured, and he has. If you don't give game time to all the other guys, you're going to be all of a sudden surprised with one injury, and then you're out. So that's probably, I can understand their thinking, but I like your point as well, Norman. This time, so close to the cup, you got to go with your best possible 11.
Now we've been joined by Bahram, who arguably is our best commentator, he thinks.
Hi, Bahram.
Hi, Mohsin. Hi, Norman. Congratulations, Mohsin, on the win yesterday.
Thank you very much.
Convincing victory. So how was the mood in the Afghanistan camp?
Very good, very good. Look, I was just saying to Norman, because the guys have come back from Ireland and they have lost the series there, so they were a little bit down on the confidence. But winning a game and winning with such dominance, it just boosts your confidence, and everyone's so upbeat and feeling really good about it. So it's really pleasing to see guys doing really well in game one.
Now, Bahram, you've been very vocal with some of your commentary that concerns me, what you've been saying. Now, could you just elaborate about some of the remarks? Were you drinking when you said them, or was it real comments, or what?
Which particular remark are you referring to, Norman?
There are so many comments, Bahram, I have lost track of them all. Don't try and hide behind your disguise of how. I can't say the bloody word, but don't hide behind your, I don't know what I said, Dom. What did I say? You know full well what you say. Anyway, now I can see that most is looking at the clock now. Just quickly, let's get back to this. This is a very good question here from Lion's Heart. What do you think about today's Indian spin attack? Ashwin, Chahal, Jadeja, or Bishnoi, Chahal, Jadeja? What do you think, guys?
I think Ashwin probably will not play. I think Chahal and Jadeja pick themselves up. I think I'll go with Bishnoi. It's just that I think confidence in Ashwin is quite low. He actually, last training session, he bowled whole session, which is which is good to see that he bowled the whole session when we were training in simultaneously. So what they do at ICC Academy, they split the ground. So half the ground is with one team and half the other. So I saw Ashwin bowl the whole session, so which is good, and he was bowling with good spin and good action. So could be a surprise, but I think they'll go with this key game. I think they will go with Bishnoi. That's my prediction.
With Bishnoi?
Yeah.
Okay. What you mean together with Chahal and Jadeja?
Chahal and Jadeja, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just quickly on that. Have you had a chance to talk to Harris Ralph?
Yes, we had breakfast this morning.
What did he say?
Oh, it was just when I think for these cricketers, it's really crucial when you catch up with them or at breakfast table or something, and then not talk cricket, because they talk cricket all day and they live in that. So it's really good that you're not talking cricket, you're just talking something else, some crap, because that just gets their mind off cricket. Because I think if you're alone because it's a really different life. If people understand that you're living in your room, you all day, you're thinking about the game. You're talking to yourself, you're alone. You spend alone time quite a lot. Probably 70% of your time is spent by yourself in your room. So you do live and breathe cricket. So when you catch up with people, I think it's the best way is to just not talk cricket. And that's what we did this morning.
Hang on. Are you suggesting you didn't mention my name in passing? Was there no mention?
Oh no, we talked about all the friends in Sydney and whatnot, and look forward to catching everyone when we're in Sydney. But it's not in relation to cricket; it's in relation to friendship.
No.
Yeah.
But Harris Ralph, as you know, Mosen, is extremely down to earth. He's not. He still believes he's below everybody. He still wants to get autographs. He's still in this nature of I'm not really worthy of being here in some cases. Until he gets on the field, of course, a different story. Yes. But when he's off the field, he's got that attitude.
Yeah.
All right, Baram, what's your summary? Just on before we lose, we've got more time with Mosen, but Baram, just your quick take on India, Pakistan. What's your initial gut feel?
Well, more than the match itself, I hope the whole tournament does not go like the previous World Cup that we had in Dubai. That's, if you ask me, that's my bigger concern. It should not be that the toss decides the game. Like the first game was little. Yes, we would say that Afghanistan played where Sri Lanka did not play well. But who knows? The signs are there on that aspect. So you cannot cross that theory out where the side winning the toss is bowling first holds credence. So that's my biggest worry, that this tournament should not turn that way out. Otherwise, like moving forward, having tournaments in the Middle East, in Dubai, Abu Dhabi would not make sense and would lose all the fun, because if the toss decides the game.
Especially this time of the year when it's a lot of humidity. As I was saying to Norman earlier on, there wasn't much dew on the ground, but the humidity was quite high, and that helped. Because what happens under lights, the humidity drops off and there's a little bit of breeze comes through. It makes the batting easier in the second half. But once it's humidity around, the ball swings a lot and it spins a lot as well. So I think ICC and all the concerning boards should have to think about the schedule. If this time of the year, especially if they're going to play here, the pitches have to be a bit more different, because you don't want toss to decide the game.
Left field here. I'm just watching a girl called Keith Longan and I've forgotten his name, commentating on the so-called BBL draft, and there's an attempt to make it like an IPL draft, and I shake my head. It's just bloody ordinary. I'm sorry. They're trying to be an IPL pizzazz 14, 15 years after IPL started. I don't get it. I'm sorry. They shouldn't be trying to copy them. Admittedly, they should be trying to do what they do, yes. But I'm watching this draft concept, and it hasn't worked. There are some improvements, but it still hasn't worked. I know they've kept Warner because of the amount of money they've offered him, but there's something not right about it. I mean, I'm just frustrated with it. I'm not sure it's going to work. I'll leave that at one side. All right. let's look at some of the comments. I have no room for Marsh in my side. Sam Heslett says, well, what do you mean no room in your side? Mitch Marsh has to be there. I think he's a very
I
important
think
part.
white ball cricket, I think he will be in there. I think for white ball cricket, you need him. Test, I think Cameron Green is his first choice.
Although they have pushed Mitch Marsh down the order, he's not at number 3. They've got Steve Smith there. Okay, for the ODIs, I can accept that, but for T20s, I certainly won't be able to. And having Alex Carey, he's not Rishabh Pant. Why is he batting 4? It's confusing.
English would be my best choice for one day.
English.
Yeah.
I agree. Totally. All right. Return to India, Pakistan. I'm excited like all hell. I love these sort of matches. The tension's enormous. And again, Afghanistan will be sitting there smiling from ear to ear, won't they? They'll love India.
Absolutely. Look, the interesting fact I tell you, Norman, I went downstairs to get some printouts and stuff, and the lobby is full of people with blue and green shirts. There's so many people already out in lobby just to catch a glimpse of Pakistani players or Indian players. It is amazing. I just went for a walk down the street. There's a supermarket. I just wanted to buy some drinks and whatnot. So I just went down there, and a amount of people are outside already. This is a few hours before about an hour before the team leaves. It's about it's about people out there trying to catch a glimpse of their superstars. That just is amazing.
Mohsen, all the teams are staying in the same hotel?
Yeah, 5 of the teams are staying here. So because it's easier for ICC to manage, because every team gets a floor. So then the security purposes and all that stuff, it's easier to maintain.
5 of the teams, which team is not staying? Hong Kong?
India have moved out. They moved out to Palm.
Okay.
Really? Why is that?
I think they want to keep segregated because it's India made.
Are they in a better hotel? Is the question.
All the matches are on the same ground, right?
First couple of games are in Dubai. Then we play Bangladesh on Sharjah ground on Tuesday, and then we come back to Dubai. And then second round, there's 3 matches in Sharjah as well. So it's just Dubai. No games in Abu Dhabi.
Okay. So the whole tournament will be in just 2 grounds.
2 grounds, yeah.
Okay.
I just love the way that BBL. I'm sorry, I'm digressing. In BBL draft, they're telling you how much each level are getting, like platinum, gold. Oh my god! But the amounts are pithy. They're pathetic. Platinum getting 340,000. That doesn't even come near to an IPL last-minute contract.
Not even the international league that's going to start here in January. So, yeah.
Why don't we this is cheeky of me. Let's just sell out to the IPL franchise and be done with. We're looking
exactly. Yeah, exactly. A lot of money to Australian domestic cricket as well, if IPL franchise come in and take a stake.
All right. Moj, you're going to go soon, don't you?
I've got to go soon. Yeah, I've got a couple of minutes.
Okay. Both of you, has Pakistan got any real chance in this match?
If they win the toss, I believe.
The toss.
I still think India is good enough to bat first or second and then still be competitive. I don't think toss will decide today because India is really well prepared. I think Pakistan will miss Shaheen Afridi. They don't have a left armer, and India traditionally have been struggling against the left arm pace. So I think that is going to be critical. No left arm pace for Pakistan is a minus for me. Whereas India is well prepared, their top order is really good, and their attack is well balanced, even though Bumrah is not there. I think India, for me, is favourite for today.
But wouldn't it be fantastic? Crystal ball. We look at Afghanistan playing India and Afghanistan win.
It would be awesome. It'd be great.
Well, that will be next round for sure.
Next round, yes. 2 big games: Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, Afghanistan.
But I'm talking, Moj, you would suddenly become a very very sought after commodity. You rock up for Afghanistan and they start winning everything.
Well, hopefully the win rolls continues, mate, and I can be part of the World Cup Afghanistan team.
So just an insight before you go. Are you giving, like, are you a speech man? Are you the go-to man? Are you the motivation man? Is that part of your role?
Yeah, it's not so much motivational. I think more it's the strategy, the planning, and the stats I present to the team. So that's my role. So I do prepare about the opposition. How should we plan? How should we strategize the team? Present some stats to the boys as well. So that's what my role is. And I was very pleased once we had some certain plans against the players and it worked. So it's really pleasing to see.
Well, Bram, I'm sure you would agree, Mosen. We're all excited for you. Everyone's talking to me about it. Little Rapakshi was talking to me earlier about we all went, Rapakshi and myself, we went to the opening of Allianz Stadium. I tell you
I saw
what,
that, yeah, on your Facebook.
That was more like an opening ceremony of an Olympic Games. It was brilliant, absolutely sensational. The ground has distinct size between seats, between areas, between queues. The food was absolutely first class.
Nice.
I actually had a chat to the mayor of Valona, Justin Ems, who's a billionaire. I know his mum and dad. We had a good chat. He's got 64 pubs or restaurants, more so pubs around Sydney, Australia, where he's well over $1 billion in worth there. And he has every outlet within the stadium is actually named after one of his 64 places. It's brilliant. The food is sensational. A little bit expensive, but to be expected. Rapakshi she went to get an alcoholic drink, and she had an ID, and they wouldn't allow it at first. And everybody defended her, and they ended up giving her free drinks because they felt bad. The place is stupendous. Most you have to come down, and I'll get you to come to an event with me. I know
we'll definitely do that. We'll plan that. We'll plan that for next month some stage. I'm back. Hopefully I'm staying here till the 11th. That's the final. 11th of September. So hopefully I'm staying here till then.
Well, you won't be leaving because you'll be with the squad until the World Cup, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's. Let's hope, but I think it will happen.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the wish, Norman. I've got to go.
Take care.
Thanks, Baram. Thanks to everyone. We'll catch up another time.
Thank you, Mosen.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Bye.
No. Baram, aren't we lucky to have that insight, to have Mosen sitting there in the hotel, bumping into Harris Ralph, no longer Coley, because he's obviously changed that. I'm watching as we speak, Baram, the BBL draft, and it's embarrassing. They're sitting like school students behind laptops, and the commentators going around asking questions. It looks so stupid.
I have no idea that the BBL draft is going on. I was watching the Australia-Zimbabwe match in the afternoon. I had no idea there's a BBL draft going on.
Oh, but it's stupid because there's no hype. It's not like an IPL. They're sitting there and they don't know what to say because they've got no idea. Oh, Russia, yeah. And they're all, it's like a schoolroom. It's hilarious. And a bunch of guys don't even, there's no real discussion going on. They're just sitting there going, I've got to do it because I'm told to. It's embarrassing. It's hilarious. It's such a pathetic attempt to match the IPL. And it's just the best players getting 340,000. That's nothing.
340,000 what? US dollars or Australian dollars?
Australian dollars.
Okay.
That's the player level. That's the highest category of player.
So they are doing this similar to the PSL, right? Because PSL also have a. So this is more like a PSL than the.
Yeah, but you can just see that the guys have got no idea. They're not talking. They've got a little. One's got a book. David Hussey, Michael Hussey's brother. There's no real hype here. It's just, I shouldn't say, and they're crossing the Trent Bolt, even though he's getting paid money. Look, I wouldn't mind getting $340,000 for playing in a BBL, and it is a big move from where they were before, but it's still just, it's actually underplaying. Cricket Australia needs to realise that maybe their best solution is to actually let the IPL take over. I mean that quite seriously. Everyone else is doing it. You've got the UAE, you've got the South African League, you've got the English League, they're all, and the Caribbean League. It's just not working.
Okay. Anyway, Norman, let's shift a little. What's your view? What was the view about the Test match? Because I think you didn't do a closing. The England South Africa Test match.
Very confusing, especially because South Africa really gave England a bit of a belting in the first match, but it almost woke England up. Perhaps maybe England took South Africa too easily in the first match and really put their best foot forward and showed their true worth. They are clearly better than South Africa. I'm sorry, they're clearly better than South Africa.
But I would still. I'm completely flummoxed with the way Dean Elgar won. Number one, winning the toss, he elected to bat. And number two, why did he change the team? Why did he remove Marco Jansen? Like those two things, I found them very, very weird. Like winning the toss, like, why do you go for batting first? Where it's not as if the conditions were so conducive that you were batting first. And and given the fact that everybody know the game of England, like at least the way they have changed, so they are very happy chasing. Like they want to bat the fourth innings. So why play into their strategy? Something like that. It's like maybe they need to read the Art of War or something like that. So that
Yeah,
I found it very, very weird in terms of
yeah, I
the
agree.
initial decisions by Dean Elgar.
But let's I know it should be a proper series. All series should be a proper series. Two's never enough. I go back to the fact though that England didn't really put their foot down on the throttle early because they probably would have beaten South Africa in the first match as well. The fact is England are clearly a better side, except for Rabada and Norgate, who are great bowlers. I'm not denying that, but the South African batting line leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. Uncle Nake, one of our regulars, is saying since Rahul Dravid is back with the team, will Vivius continue to be with the team? I think he will. I don't think they'll just go back home. This is more than 1 billion viewership for today's match. Oh, that's going to be phenomenal. Quite phenomenal. The only thing which is in favour of Pakistan, Bahram, is the fact that it's being played in the UAE and they have had a lot of experience there. That could be one forte for Pakistan, but India will start to show their muscle, I think, in this series. I think they're really going to, if they're true to their form, they should be smacking every team and winning the whole thing.
But the only thing that I would want India to do is to play their full strength side because right now I'm a bit confused. Like who are the starting 11 for India? Like okay, I know maybe one or two players change based on the pitch condition or the condition maximum. Two. But right now there are so many players, so many like openers are being tried out. Like I to a point I'm getting like really confused. Like what exactly is going on? Like India's
Well,
tried out
Rahul's back.
people,
Rahul's back.
different people at different positions. So if you ask me today, who will be the starting level is a big question mark.
Yeah, the bowling seems more settled than the batting, to be honest, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And Rishabh Pant's going to probably still bat 4 or high. Sky seems to be in favour. Venkatesh Iyer, he seems to be not there. It's hard because they've got, as I said earlier, it's time they settle on a team and stick to it. Regardless of injury, I can accept that. Whereas Virat Kohli fitting in this team, Rahul, it's just, it is very, it's a little bit confusing, but India have to now show their weight. I'm afraid it's time they show their weight. Do you think Shami will make the T20 squad, considering the fact that Bumrah is injured and India need pace? Good question. I think that's a very good question. What do you think?
I think definitely Shami should make the cut. Like I don't see any reason why, given that Bumrah is injured and Shami has both the new ball capability as well as the bowling in the that capability. So he should be there.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Ashwin Karthik is up north here in Australia. Who went between India and Pakistan? Me, Norman, the god of prediction. I'm going to still stick with India, regardless of the toss. I think India will do it. Pakistan will put up a good effort. I hope they do. Pakistan's real test will come in the semi-final when they play probably Afghanistan. That's what I'm already predicting. It's going to be between India and Pakistan, with Afghanistan and smoking.
Well, I hope it does not happen that whoever loses today does not screw up with Hong Kong. You don't know,
I mean,
Norman, funny
don't even.
things happen.
I can't comprehend why Hong Kong are even there. To be honest with you, they're not in the same league. They should be. Each team should be ready to smack them.
Correct.
Really, they should really be smacking Hong Kong, giving them one hell of a one.
But are you happy with this? How can you say the formation of this Asia Cup? Don't you feel like it's been made so that there are more India Pakistan matches? Like, why have 3 teams in each group and then play, then go into the? It's a very, very weird format to have.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's 6 teams are not very much. There's not very much is going on there, to be honest. I can see Sydney Thunder got Jason Sanger sitting in the back there. Don't know why he's sitting back. He's not a selector. Okay. All right, he's there. All right. We've got another question. Nassim Shah is there. He's a good pick. I think that's a very good pick. We've got wouldn't go with Stark in next year's World Cup, nor would I. He's limited.
Some people are saying that VVS Lakshman has come back to India, so it's only Rahul Dravid over there.
What was that?
VVS Lakshman has gone back to India, so it's Rahul Dravid with the team.
Well, I mean, he was there as a caretaker for Rahul, for Dravid, of course, and I get that. But I don't know what's wrong. I would have kept him there because he and Dravid get along very well. I'm pretty sure. Kohli scored a century today. Aditya Rai, I hope bloody so. I want him to really. I mean, if he gets a big score either today or in this tournament, the whole world will lift to another level.
I think, Rasi, right now, if you ask me, the Indian team logic of playing at least is that, they are not expecting a big score from anyone. They are happy with a 30-40 that is scored of half the number of balls. Like, if you see me, that is the philosophy. And this is where, if you ask me, where T20 cricket is actually going to, Norman, like, every batsman would be expected that you are scoring minimum 30-40 out of from 15-20 balls. And if you add those up, like you have at least 4 or 5 clicking at that, you will end up with a very good score. So that's where I would say T20 cricket would end up to.
Yeah. I still maintain a thought after having had a World Cup last year, which Australia won. Okay, congratulations to them. It's just been too quick to have another World Cup of this magnitude. And I think there's a lot of issues around this. They should have thought, I know COVID created this problem. I don't deny that. But it seems to have made any ODI match this year virtually irrelevant.
And immediately we have the ODI World Cup next year, right? And we'll also have the Test Championship next year. So a lot of silverware going on.
No, it's becoming a little bit of an overload, to be honest with you.
Overload, and I would say the World Cup is also losing its sheen. Like, don't you feel like right now, where would you rate a like which trophy would you rate more important? The ODI World Cup, the Test Championship, Maize, it's not a cup, or the T20 World Cup. Like, if you had to choose one, which would you rate?
I look, of course, the ODI has probably got the most significance in terms of length of time. Okay, it's been around probably the most in terms of the so-called World Cup, so we can't deny that. But I do think T20 has got a great status now. But ultimately, the one that needs to be seen as the most important for cricket to really keep its status is the World Test Championship. I believe that has to rise above. Probably T20 with ODI running third. I think that's the pecking order.
But I have some. See, I would still rate yes, the ODI World Cup being so long has been, but T20 like, and right now people are even bored of ODIs. That's number one.
Oh,
The
they have
issue with the
definitely got.
test,
They definitely
the
have.
issue with the Test Championship, Norman, is that you'll just have those 5 6 countries playing. Like that's my biggest worry. I don't see any new country coming up to challenge on the Test Championship. Like I don't see
Really? Yeah,
anyone
I
other
think this.
than England, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, and Pakistan. Out of any other than these 5 teams would ever win the Test Championship. So it would
Uh,
end up being a like a test for these 5 countries. No new country coming up.
okay. I don't know whether it's a matter of it being more countries coming up, but I think for the sake of Test cricket, needs to have a reason to keep those Test series alive. India are now playing Australia at 5 tests. If we push other nations to play 3, it starts to become more relevant. I think they've got to give Test cricket. All cricket stems from Test cricket. I truly believe that, and our future has to mandatorily have Test cricket as the leading linchpin with
I
T20 and
I'm looking at a perspective of cricket, like or we say we are happy in its place. See, we are two things. Is one, we look at the how the game is played by more and more countries. Like take for example football. Like, whenever I have my bar talk with my, let's say, friends from France or Germany, and I tell them, oh, I love cricket or something like that, and they say, oh, what is how many countries play that game? You can count it on your hand, and they're right on that. Like, if you talk about the spread of football, I'm talking about soccer. The spread of that compared to cricket, I would say, okay, though in sheer, if you're talking about number of people, since it's being played in the subcontinent, yes, uh, cricket comes, I would say, after football, just very close by in terms of number of people. But in terms of number of countries or the knowledge, like many countries don't even know what this game is. Like Norman, let's accept that fact.
but hang
If
on,
we
but
are
hang
saying
on.
cricket to
You're
be so
laughing at,
popular, many countries don't even know what this game is.
well, but having said that, though, the second most popular sport in the world behind football, as in soccer, is cricket.
Yeah, that's because of the number of people. That's what I
That's
exactly
still
said, Norman.
okay, but that still is important in the scheme of things. So, revenue dollar is based on numbers. No, I don't think that it's. I'm not concerned by that. I just think we need to accept that World Test Championships now have got a place in the pecking order, and ODIs and T20s will become they're what they are, but they need to be spread out. They need not to be one. We should never have a T20 World Cup year on year, as what's happened. They have to avoid that. But I don't even think we need to have a year off. I'm not sure that can happen. We need to have a year
I
off.
think it's every 2 years, right? T20 World Cup is now going to be every 2 years, and same with the Test Championship. That's going to be every two
Yeah,
years. It's now
yeah.
ODI, which has suffered and has become once every 4 years, like going with the tradition.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. What I'm trying to say is we've got to have an off year. We've got to have a year where no World Cups are played. And we haven't had that for a while because we did in COVID. We had because of COVID. But yeah, anyway, I think I agree with you on most points. I don't want India will thrash Pakistan. I don't know about thrash, but they probably will win. Stark is the worst bowler. I kind of agree. Is Shakib Hussain playing in the Asia Cup? I think he is. I'm pretty sure I've seen him in the squads. Um, Toss is the main man of the tournament. I hope not. I keep saying that. Ashwin. So this is a great question about Ashwin. Ashwin, despite being what everybody would have to agree is one of the most talented, or no, the most prolific wicket takers in any format for India, doesn't seem to get Guernseys that often anymore. He doesn't play all the test matches. He doesn't play all the so-called T20 or even ODIs. It seems to me that he must be a little bit frustrated because his stats show that he's still the best bowler they've got.
Well, I would say, see, if it's not a spin helping wicket, Ashwin does not fit in the team. That's the situation with Ashwin. I'm talking about Test matches. If it's not a spin helpful wicket, like uh, he just does not fit in the team dynamics.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't. I'm afraid he must have issues with team dynamics. He must, because even with Kohli, I don't believe he gets along with Kohli. The body language I see, I don't agree that he does. Okay. Habibi in Dubai, toss one match. Let's not hope that. I wish we could somehow do away with the toss the way that it affects games. To me, it shouldn't have an effect. If India's good enough, they will win from both ends. Batting or bowling first, they'll win. And I can see India winning their group. I mean, India, let's hope there's a shock. Let's hope Pakistan win. I'll tell you, if Pakistan win, it's going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. It's probably going to be detrimental for Afghanistan, because if Afghanistan fall top of their tree, they would prefer to play Pakistan, I think, in the semi-final. I really do.
So the next, if I'm not wrong, it's like a round robin, Norman, moving on into next round.
Yeah.
So I think you play everybody. You play the two teams from the other group, I think, if I'm not wrong. So Afghanistan anyway will play India and Pakistan.
Yeah, look, I just think that they've tried to squish the Asia Cup this year because there's too much going on. I think that's what they're really trying.
But they had to do that because the last Asia Cup happened when, in 2018, if I'm not wrong, or even before that. It happened long back.
T20 World Cup is important for associate countries. Like it certainly is. Stark has had a bowling swing. He's lost it, yes. Is football, soccer more popular in Australia than cricket? No, I would say cricket's still more popular than soccer here. But the emergence of soccer is certainly coming through. And cricket is dwindling a little bit. And the ultimate one that's really worrying me is the AFL. It's a bloody Melbourne sport, but they're trying to infiltrate all over Australia, and they're actually ruining rugby codes. So, and the fact is, we don't play AFL, the Australian rules, anywhere outside of Australia. Who wants to play a sport that's only played by Australians? It doesn't seem to have any significance. I mean, India has sports that are not played by other countries. Like there's this particular sports. What's that game where they play?
Kabaddi is one, but it's played by other countries. Like Pakistan does play it, Iran does play it, and even it's very famous in South Korea. Kabaddi. So it's not that other countries don't play it.
It's still that's a lot of expat Indians that are playing. It's not really just. Is cricket popular in South Africa? I would argue yes, but like any sport in South Africa, they are heading towards basketball and things like that because of their height. They're going to hopefully not fall in the same trap that the West Indies have done, where they've lost a lot of players to athletics, basketball.
NBA, yeah.
Is AFL killing cricket? No, I don't think AFL's killed cricket because it's played another season. But what it does do is, if the AFL season's too long, it encroaches on the cricket season. But that means we've got lesser ground. The pitches are not as ready for cricket, it is a problem. Starks needs rhythm. He isn't able to take a wicket against Zimbabwe. He took the last wicket today.
Sam is really behind Starker.
But look, Mitchell Stark's still got a whole heap of wickets. He's probably got a few more years left in him, but he should forego, I think, the T20 format and possibly ODI now and stick to one which is Test matches. This IPL is no one's really talk. None of the people talk to each other. They're all sitting there. It's like they've made their decisions, but I know they haven't. They haven't indeed. All right. Any parting thoughts? We might finish up soon. Well, I would like to get longer heading into the match until we get to actually. We've got another half an hour to go before the actual toss is decided. I'm not expecting you to stay that long, Baram, but I know we can talk about the toss affecting the result, and I get that, but I don't want to. I really think that it won't matter to India. India will be capable of winning from both ends, so to speak. Oops, bro, lost Baram. US can emerge on the next big cricket city. They certainly can, did you? Jai Richardson is far better than Stark. Well, I can't say he's far better, but he probably is worthy of consideration more and more as we go along. Yes, I would agree with that. Okay. We're coming up to an hour now in terms of the broadcast. The time itself is in fact 11 o'clock. So we have possibly up to half an hour before the actual toss. It's still a bit of time to go. I'm not unhappy with that situation. I prefer us to be still there, of course. Let's look here. See Gillespie here talking on behalf of his Adelaide Strikers for the draft. The Rashid Khan's won their article on the Granholm. They haven't got a lot to pick from. Majib is another one there for the Bangladesh lots. Majib is actually, Afghan lots. It's still a worry, in my opinion. All right. Any other thoughts, guys? We could go back and talk about, before we get to this, but Australia versus Zimbabwe is really not doing anything for us to understand how to actually decide on a team. I can see the Sydney Thunder's got Jason Sang on the back row there. I'm not sure what his influences are, why he's actually there. He seems a little bit embarrassed, personally. Yes. Oh, we've got the most boring IPL thing I've ever seen. All right, guys, we might just hang about a minute and see if we can pick. We'd like to have a possible side for India RGC. Let me have a look at that. Let's just quickly grab something to drink. I'm a little bit thirsty. Just bear with me, guys. Just hang on. What have we got here? How popular is BBL in Australia? It's losing its popularity, I would say. Does PPL watch? Does people watch it like they watch AFL? No. Why? Australia is playing full strength team against Zimbabwe. Well, I did you right. It's a good decision because they haven't got much time before they have much ability to play before they hit the time. So they need to have a lot more practice than you would think. All teams should be playing their best teams now. They've got a month, 6-7 weeks before the World Cup. It's not much time. They need to get their team at their best by far. The Hobart team has, of course, Ricky Ponting heavily involved. Look, he's I don't agree, though. All right, guys, just give me 2 seconds. Because I'm starting to fade a bit. I need to drink. Oh, the shut punt coming out of the water. All right, here we're back. Yeah. Why is Australia playing full? We talked about it earlier. It really is something to do with how little time we have before the so-called World Cup. And it's time they start to give their teams fully getting used to their squads. I know they played each other a lot and there was no to be rested. No, it's time they're not rested. If they're fit, they should be playing. Very simple. PCB, police, Pakistan Cricket Board to donate gate proceeds from the first T20 in New Zealand
I don't see Gate Brisbane in your contacts. Who do you
to
want to send a
PM
message?
flood relief. Okay,
I don't see relief in your
getting
contacts.
up.
Who do you want to send a message?
Let's have a look
Who do
here.
you want to send a message?
No one. Okay,
Okay then.
getting talked by Siri over here. Hilarious. Okay. The draft for the BBL. The most unimportant thing for me at the moment. I think there's a real mess there. They're desperate. I would prefer to see the IPL franchises take it over because it just seems to be that's the way they're going. And we're basically resisting something that probably needs better attention. Really worrying, to be honest with you. Can Australia play the Asia Cup? No. I did hear right. If it was Australasia, yes, they could, but they're not Australasia. It's just Asia. That's probably the reason why we're not playing. If it was Australasia, we could do that. But it really defeats the purpose of having it with Australia involved. I would argue. Really defeats the purpose of having it. So, I mean, just you're right. It's just Ashwin Kartik is asking us why we're not showing the so-called the two Germans, two Italians, two Greeks, and one German. The big bash, the banter corner, the so-called the gig. Well, we've had people who have not been well and they've been away and they've been travelling. So it's 17 episodes. We've given it a fair crack. So we're going to give it a little bit of that time to regroup or rebirth ourselves. Well, I'm sure it'll happen. It'll be on this week, which is only a few days away. All right, so don't worry. Look at the Hurricanes have got Ricky Ponting and Ricky Ponting's the main person. They're not showing much in the way of real discussion. It's more of a comical approach to it, which is a bit of a concern. We are waiting for the toss. So that won't even happen. Put me a jiggle and see. Let me see the woman that is with. I'm not sure what that was. Oh my god. People singing. All right. I'll post, if you like, the Indian team. You've got Kamal Khan is in Dubai, and he's putting Pakistan versus the best. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's quite fun, actually. like Hollywood, is there any separate movie industry for Australia? Yes, there is. Well, we have our Fox Studios, which is we're all known for having our own studio. We've got the likes of a guy called Chris Hemsworth, and Chris Hemsworth who actually has an attempt to create an Australian industry within an industry. Yes, but it's not called Bollywood or Hollywood. It's just the Australian Fox Studios, which has a lot of different groups as well as Warner Brothers. I think it's on the Gold Coast. They're both big. Who was your favourite singer? My favourite singer? Probably Mary J. Blige. She's very good. Certainly is right up there. Mary J. Blige sings One Love with Bono from U2, which is a great song. Tell me any recent Australian movies. Oh, gee, there's one that Russell created, which was like on that road race. Forgot the name of that. Was quite scary. I did hear right. Australia women's team winning every time, probably best team for our generation. Okay, I did hear right. Australia's team has been very good. The domestic scene is very strong, especially in a city like Sydney, one of the best domestic women's comps that you'd ever come across. Hence why they're doing so well. They're very competitive, and that's why I'm bringing a lot of the Sri Lankan and Indian and Pakistani girls and you name it. UAE and South Africa have come here, so they've all played in this tournament, and they're fully aware of how good it is for women. It certainly is right up there, and would recommend anyone to come across and play that here. Okay, so we've got still 18 minutes before the draw. 18 minutes is a long time in anyone's books. I'll just read you through the two teams' probabilities. I've got that written there somewhere. Let's look here. Okay. Who is the most popular Australian cricketers? Like everybody knows, well, the old stays like Jeff Thompson, like certainly Lily of those for sure. Probably Steve Smith and Warner would still probably be. Maxwell would be right up there, and Zampa and that would certainly be up there. Okay. So I'm looking for the team selections here. With Jason Gillespie there having a bit of a chat. BBL drafts is Livingston to the Renegades, Bolt to the Stars, and Duplessis and Russell unpicked. Okay. Well, I'm watching it live as it's happening here, and I'm not getting very excited. So, okay. India, Pakistan, here we go. Shashank, Paul, someone from Arshdeep is making his runner. So Arshdeep's apparently out there making his runner. Does that mean Arshdeep's playing? It looks like it may well be. Can Marnus Labuschagne play second over one day? I don't think so. Well, we want to put him in. He's not. They're 11. Simple as that. They're thinking Arshdeep's going to get a Guernsey. If he does, who's he replacing is the question. So Nassim Shah will make his debut, T20 international debut. He's just 19 years old, obviously a very good bowler, so happy for him. Interesting to see what they cite. Hi, so KSI1, DG1. Yeah, who are we talking about? Please, so Indians arriving for the match. So we heard from Mohsen Sheikh earlier that the 6 teams for the Asia Cup were staying in the one house. So it looks like India have left and leave Hong Kong, Pakistan, Afghanistan, obviously Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and fifth being Hong Kong. So yeah, the sixth, of course, is in there. So that's all the teams that are in the one hotel. Luke Wood, I have no idea who that is. He's been add Harry, please. Harry non, please. Add Harry. Harry to this one. No, he won't come to this one. He'll come to the banter corner. He'll be there for that. Okay. Add Gary Norman. Add Gary. Who's Gary? You mean George? Do you? So yeah, Bahram Rani's just said his battery died, which was all I thought. So Bahram, come back if you want to. We've still got another 15 minutes to go. Bahram, if you wouldn't mind, because it's obviously not died too much because you're actually online. Still got some 14 minutes before, or 13 minutes, I should say, before the actual toss. We did talk in terms of sides, didn't we? Predicting sides. Another blog. All right, so we're looking at some 13 minutes before the toss. 13 minutes before the toss. $2.26. Okay. UAE, Nepal, future teams for Asia Cup certainly are. Oman as well. Oman's another one that's a future one for the Asia Cup, certainly. Well, we're not going. I'll report on the fact of who will win the toss a bit later, but I do want to remind us all that it's important we do know who that is. Okay, got Andy Bickle there. I can see David Saker as the bowling coach. We've got some very ordinary selections. Very lackluster indeed. Okay, so we've got how many minutes? We've got still 12 minutes to go. No, I'm going to call it quits, guys. Okay, so again, we'll view, like, and share the post. Subscribe as much as you can. Get those that are around to subscribe, or at least be able to, have a good look and view, like, and share, and ultimately subscribe, which will be the idea of how we'd like to work my channel, which is at 32,271. The last count was, which is quite admirable. Here's my focus curriculum set for South Africa. I haven't got any. Probably Rabada and Norjay, probably the two that I would go for. None of the batters stand up for me. All right, the draft's still chugging along there. We've got David Saker, who's probably with quite a respectable guy. Okay, I might just no, I can't. I could come back in about 9 minutes and start to talk about things then. Would be looking at the draft scenarios again. But yeah, I'll post the updated Indian team, and I'll also post the Pakistan team, and we'll watch as the game is close, and hopefully we've got something to watch. I'd say it'll be very exciting indeed. Usman Khawaja there representing the Heat, Brisbane Heat. I've got Moses and Rex there for Sydney Sixers. Oh, guys. Or subscribe, view, like, and share the post, subscribe. We get people to see the videos, send the links. I'll post the actual two teams who won the toss which hopefully won't matter. Go India against Pakistan, and go Afghanistan against both Bangladesh, and then ultimately they'll play to win their pool. That means they'll play potentially Pakistan in the semi, and the winner of that plays India. Quite exciting indeed. Let's hope it works that way. All the best, guys. We'll talk again tomorrow.